Hey guys, this is Faster U4 brought to you by FitLab, Tailwind Nutrition, Biomax and Capital Cycles. If you're a cyclist, you want to go faster? Let's giddy up. Hey guys, thanks for watching. I got an offer for you. Biomaxa.co.nz. Head along, fill up your trolley. More lubrication than a 70s porno. You're going to rock up to the cart. You're going to enter the code. Here it comes. Steve Bale FitLab. That's capital S, capital B, capital FitLab. You know what to do. You're going to get 10% off everything in that cart. You're going to take a knife and you're going to get 10% off it. You're going to pay that much less. And also, it's going to get to your door for free. It's going to save you a bunch. You're gonna get some chain lube. The Biomax chain lube made in Christchurch. It's outrageous. It sticks to your chain in winter like nothing else. The bio grease, the degreaser, the bike cleaner, and my personal favourite, of course, the chamois cream. Style for money then pants. Biomax.co.nz. Steve Bale FitLab. 10% off everything. Plus free shipping. Enjoy, guys. Hey guys, how you doing? Steve here. Welcome to another episode of Fast You Full. Brought to you by FitLab, Capital Cycles, Tailwind Nutrition, Biomax. Hey, I went yesterday to the Tropical Wairarapa, and I rode the North Island Series, Team Series. Race 3 from Martinborough down through the unusual territory to the south, and it was good, so I'm going to tell you all about that. Let me tell you about what I'm doing here today. See how I'm all hunched over like a little cockroach? That's because I am got my active recovery today on a TT bike. Getting all comfortable. It's getting a little snuggled in here. There's a reason for that. I'll tell you why. And the third thing is related. Think about intervals. How I want to do them and why. It's my theory. And it works. Well, I think it works. It certainly worked for me. I can prove it with data. Well, let's go back. Topic number 1. North Island Series 2017. It's coming up. Well, it's coming up, but because I'm a maniac, it may be 12 weeks or whatever from the first one, but I'm going out there. I'm using these Recon rides as a way to go out with some of my FitLab team riders and do Recons as a way of, you know, getting in some nice long aerobic endurance rides. The rule is never be less than 100 Ks. You have to get the triple. I think it looks much better on Strava. Went up with Captain John Caron yesterday, and we rode this course, so you can see the map there. Starts in Martinborough, I can zoom in there, down White Rock Road, turns towards the road that goes out to a place called Tora on the coast. I screwed that up in my last video. It wasn't Tora, it was somewhere else on the south coast. Towards Cape Pillar, so this one's towards Tora. And it's rolling. And there are climbs. So giddy up, here's what you want to know. You start going out, down, and pretty early, in fact, almost immediately, there's like some long kind of false flattish rolling drags. You could, I mean, this is within the first 5-10 Ks. It comes down into some sort of valley area. There's some bridges, some nice sweeping turning descents, quite fast. But again, you get hit by these sort of kind of long uphill, longish uphill drags, slowish roads, punctuated by sort of like bergish climbs, and then at the halfway point is the decent climb. So that's That's this one, you know, it's hard to tell from the profile there, but what are we looking at climbing? Something like, you know, 200, 250, maybe 300 meters over the course of about 5 Ks. So it's pretty solid. And it will be quite decisive. You go over, and it's a very fast flowing, really nice descent on the other side, but do not overcook it. It's the sort of place where you can get a little bit of gravel on the corners and things like that. Not the camber isn't that great, so just be careful. It comes down into a very narrow roaded little valley for another 10 or 20 Ks on the other side. There's a turnaround. The road gets very narrow, relatively, so you want to make sure that you're kind of near the front. There's a turnaround just before you hit a gravel road, and you come back. So obviously you've got the same terrain but in reverse. That hill climb being the major feature, and on this side it's kind of nicer to climb. Elevation gain's about the same. It's kind of like a nice sweeping, good rhythm, medium grade climb. It's a lot of fun. Down the other side and then into the circuit, which includes, just out of Martinbury here, includes a section of gravel road which is about 3 to 4 Ks long. There's nothing terribly interesting about it. You do want to make sure that you're near the front, because the section of gravel in the middle of the road is quite hard to cross. You know, you can imagine if you're pounding along there quite near the finish with a bunch of savages that you might want to pass, and it's very hard to do that by crossing that centre raised piece of gravel, so you want to be on either side. Both sides seem to be about the same at the moment anyway. And then one hazard to be aware of is you come... Oh, no, actually you don't. You do, in the instructions they've got it coming down into what is effectively kind of like the main road, crossing it and doing a right-handed circuit. With the gravel, I don't know whether they're going to keep that the same on race day. Anyway, potential hazards around there with traffic and things, just be aware of that. Gravel, nothing too much to worry about. Probably want to get in the front for the aforementioned gravel-related reasons. There's 2 really good paths where the wheels go. Off to the sides and the middle is pretty sketch. You don't want to be in there. And then coming out of the gravel, down a fast descent. Well, it's not super fast, it's actually relatively flat, but it's slightly downhill. With a tailwind, it'll be quite fast. Take a righty onto the main road, as the instructions say it now anyway. And the sprint line will probably be, finish will probably be only 100 to 200 meters down the road. So not very far. You want to make sure you're well positioned. So that's it. Quite a hard course, relatively short, even though we added a few Ks onto it yesterday with some extra circuits of the gravel. It's only going to be, for the Masters, about 75 or 78 Ks or something, and the Elites add about another 10 Ks to that with a couple of extra circuits on the gravel. So very hard. Those climbs will, and the little rollers will take quite a heavy toll. All you can do is really be near the front, try to hold the wheel, but you've probably either got it or you don't when it comes to the main climb in the middle. So I would practice for, as I say, 7, 8, 9 minutes. It's a threshold power or threshold plus power climb. You want to be able to maybe put out good threshold power and have a good burst at the end for the crest and the descent, because on the valley on the other side, if you're off the back, you may never get back on. So there you go. That's the third course, and I think it's a cracker. Hard but good. My prediction is that there'll be some form of relatively early break, because it's quite hard, and you want to be in it. So I think it's entirely possible that if you are, you'll get dropped off on the main climb especially anyway. but you want to be in it regardless. So, what else are we going to talk about? The reason that I'm on TT bike. Let's talk about that. The reason I'm on it, well, it's for two reasons. So this is just active recovery ride today. Spin on the legs, blood flow, recovery, boosting inflammation. It's related to doing intervals, and what so this is what I like to do, is make sure that when you're doing your training, especially this time of year, long sub-threshold and medium threshold intervals coming up for the spring season, maybe through July and August especially, you want to be thinking about actually the nature of the courses that you're doing, and make sure you're doing your efforts in such a way in their accordance with the terrain. So, you know, a lot of people will traditionally go out and ride any type of interval almost on a hill climb, and that's okay if you're going to be aiming for races that do that. But remember, if you do your intervals on climbs, you're in an upright open hip angle position, you're developing power primarily with your quads, and as I say, that's good if you want to do that. But what people forget with a lot of racing, amateur club racing, just about probably most places, is that a lot of the action actually happens in the wind, on the flat, or on, you know, relatively short little power climbs or rises. This is not alpine climbs we're talking about. This is not 20 to 30 minutes at the Galibier or Dues. This is, you know, just on the rivet, down in the drops, in the wind, staying on the wheel, bleeding from the eyeballs. And if you've been training on climbs, you might not have sufficient power and, you know, kind of like adaptation to producing power with other groups of muscles, like specifically down low hip angle, that more TT style position, hamstrings and glutes. So, two things. I think what you want to do is identify the sort of terrain you're going to be racing, and decide where it's important to have power. And mostly, of course, actually it's a mix. It's not one or the other. You will want some power on climbs. Things will be decisive there, and sometimes it will be on the flats. But I think that issue about being able to produce power, close gaps, be responding to surges on the flat is something people forget. And I think they forget it because it's hard, so they don't like to train on that way. So it's, you know, it's partly one of those sort of things you sort of train what you enjoy. So if you can identify, maybe I always think of it in proportions in my mind. Think about if I'm racing something like a normal club style race in Wellington, you might actually want to go 50-50 intervals on the flat, in the drops, producing power with your hamstrings and your glutes, and then 50% on the hills. You might actually want to tweak that so you're doing a little higher bias towards the types of intervals you enjoy, just based on the idea, which for most people is going to be hill climbs, just based on the idea that you're more likely to do it if you enjoy it. There's something to be said for that. But at the very least, what I think this comes down to is don't neglect what you're bad at, just because it's hard. And that, so in my coaching plans, I always do this evaluation with my clients about looking ahead, what's important, where you struggle as a rider as well. You know, it might be that actually you're already good on the hills, you're a good power to weight climber, you might actually really struggle on the flats. You really just need to say, look, I'm going to go 70-30 on the flat, intervals in the drops, and maybe you can't hit 10 minutes on the flat at L3 in the drops, but it's not because of a lack of lungs, it's probably a lack of legs. You can do the intervals to address that and change your interval bias accordingly, but you can also work out and work on the strength of that musculature in the gym using weights. Maybe that's a topic for another time, but the guts of it is you may need to get in the gym, you may need to get on the hamstring curl machine, and you may need to rip it up on there, develop some strength, some power, some hypertrophy and the hamstrings. You may need to get that squat bar, you may need to lay some eggs on that, and it might hurt at first, but if you've got good form and you know what you're doing it there for, you will get better faster and it will be satisfying. And to come back to what I said was, you know, I always used to dread flat headwind style power stuff, but I did some research, found out that's probably where my skill set actually lay as a kind of mid to large size rider. Decided to do some time trialing, decided to get better, decided to do the gym work, the muscular hypertrophy, the position changes, all of that, and now, I'm not kidding, it's gone the other way, and I kind of dread the hills a bit, and I love that flat power stuff in the crosswinds. Your Belgian, your dirty old Belgian toothpaste style cowpats and crosswinds, and you know, just that nasty echelon stuff, the dirty stuff. Well, that's what I like now. Got used to time trialing, I've got used to that. You end up liking what you get better at, and you like it because you're better at it, and you can see it paying off. If you've got a power meter, you can see you can hold a much higher intensity for much longer in a position which is much more aero, and on the flat that's what the equation is. It ain't power to weight so much, power to aero drag. If you get a coaching plan from me, I'll figure all this stuff out for you if you don't want to, and I'll develop the plan so that you make sure you're going to be good at what you need to be good at, not just what you like doing. It's all a balance, people. Alright, I'll call it a day. Thanks for watching. First you feel, what you buy. Fit Lab, Capital Cycles, Toe Nutrition by Maxa. If you'd like a coaching plan from me, you could email me, steve@fitlab.co.nz. You can send an email on the computer. I understand they have that function now. You could hire a team of jet fighters to turn on smoke and write a message to me in the sky. I don't think that's the cheapest method, but it'll sure get my attention. Thanks for watching, guys. See you soon. Thanks for watching / listening to Faster You Fall, brought to you by Fit Lab, Capital Cycles, Tail Nutrition and Biomaxa. If you'd like to get in touch for a coaching program or testing, you can get hold of me, steve@fitlab.co.nz, or go to fitlab.co.nz. Talk soon, guys.